Today we look at Ark Nova. Let's set it up. Ark Nova is a hand management game where your object is to build the best zoo using different animal types and conservation policies to get the most points. On your turn, you're going to choose one of 5 different cards, which are the actions you can use. They are on a track here below that are ranged from strength 1 to 5, and the higher the strength, the more options it gives you. The options are animals. You can put an animal card from your hand into the tableau in front of you. You can build, which is to put an animal pin on your player board. You can do a sponsorship action, which lets you play a sponsor card in front of you, which gives you different options as far as upgrades, ongoing abilities, or even a one-time boost of powers. You can choose cards. Cards let you draw more cards, pretty obvious. You can play an association card, which lets you place a worker onto the association board. Those options let you increase your reputation, get you partnerships with other zoos, as well as give you potential points at the end of the game. All of these cards can be upgraded to their backside, which are more powerful and generally increase the options that you can do of that same type. Once you've chosen an action and completed it, that card goes to the number 1 spot on your player board, pushing everything else up to the right. This means all the other cards get stronger. After your action is complete, you may do what's called a coffee break. This is an administrative part of the round, at which point you will discard down to your hand limit, you will remove tokens from the board and bring your workers back from the association board. Also, you will remove 2 cards from the display in the front and replace them with 2 new ones. Then you will get money depending on your attraction score at the time, or different cards that you may have played on the tableau or on your player board. The game has 2 scoring tracks, the attraction track and the conservation track. The attraction track also determines the amount of money during a coffee break. The conservation track is a little bit harder to move up, but it does give upgrades along the way. Once these 2 have crossed, the final round begins, and then the scoring is the difference between the 2 tracks. For all you collectors, let's get to some shelf stats. As you can see, the box here is not the same as a Ticket to Ride size. It's a little bit taller, not quite as thick though. The good news is that if you are an owner of Capstone Games, the Gaia Project, or even I think the previous version of the Gaia Project, the box is the same size as that. So at least you can stack them together and have a more uniform look on your shelf. Setup time for the game, I'll put the amount of time here. It didn't seem overly long for this type, and the hardest thing, or the thing that takes the longest, is the shuffling of the cards. It's very easy for certain groups or types to get clumped together, so you do want to be very thorough in your shuffling, which takes time when you have so many of them. However, if you split this between a few different people, it definitely helps speed it up. Let's talk about table space. On this table, you can see a 3x3 mat. This is about the size of a card table, a little bit bigger. With 2 players, we had to turn the board diagonally and keep the tokens and the association board off to the side on a smaller table to get it to work. So you are going to need some table space with this, or have some other options to deal with it. Obviously, if you have 4 players, maybe a table this size might work. There's enough room on the edges that could probably be just fine. As far as colorblind issues go, I did not have any. I am colorblind, and so this is a factor for me, although your own personal version of colorblindness may affect it. I did play the solo game on this, and it is very much like the regular version. For the solo player, there's not hardly any changes. The coffee break phase is a little different. There is no AI to run, and there is more of a timer to this game. So the coffee break happens at specific times. It is very much more of a race game because you only have so much time to play to get your points in the time that's needed. If you want to win against an AI opponent, this is not the game for you since it does not use that. It is a beat your own score type of game, although it does have the win condition of having a positive score to even be considered winning. If you like games that let you chain combos together, you will probably enjoy this game. Each card has different powers. It may be instant, long-term, which you can use to push your score up, which may unlock a new upgrade, which will let you then use another action or build another thing. I did like the scoring track on this game, or scoring tracks. I believe this works pretty well with the type of tactical game this is. You could focus on just the attraction points, or mostly on the attraction points, and then push the conservation track up as you can, or if you try to focus all in on conservation points and then afterwards work on the attraction, depending on the cards that are out there, you've got both of those options. And I've tried it both ways. It really does depend on the cards that come out there, and I think the two different tracks helps with that tactical aspect of the game. I really like the action selection system in this, using the cards of varying strength. Once you use those, they go down in strength. Now, this may not seem like a big deal, but it definitely is. You may have to choose a higher ranked option or action that you weren't planning to do, just so your other cards push up to get stronger. You may decide to upgrade something, that way you can split a lower value into two different things and help you progress your game that way. Some of the powers in the game also let you move the cards around on this power track, I guess is the best way to say it. And it was very interesting and gave extra choices due to this. One of the downsides of this game is the potential length. This does take longer than maybe some of your average games, and if you are AP prone, it definitely will increase the time. Once you get familiar with the cards and the icons, it will speed up, but if you are not playing this as a race to finish, this can take a while. It is very easy to get sucked into just playing cards for upgrades and money and options without moving your tracks very far, and this will extend the length of the game. On a two-player game, the time we found was 90 to 150 minutes was about right. Solo does run a little shorter. If you are not a fan of randomness, you may not like this game. Although there are no dice, there is a lot of cards to choose from, and here's half of the stack right here. The issue with this is you may be looking for a certain type of animal or from a certain region of the world to complete a goal for points. And if you can't get that card, that's not going to happen. So the luck of the card draw is a big issue on this. There is the play area in the front, which has a certain amount of cards displayed, but there's only so many that you can see. Drawing cards takes time and takes an action. You're not going to get through the cards, all of them, to get a specific one. So you need to play more tactical rather than strategically, and play with what the cards give you as opposed to what you want to get. And you may have better luck that way. However, if randomness is a thing, be aware the cards are random, there's a lot of them, and it could cause you problems. Ark Nova is a game that combines mechanics from other games you may have seen. Although it does not refine them, it utilizes these in a manner that creates a compelling package of entertainment. If you enjoy games that create combinations and are able to do this in a tactical manner and don't mind a longer playtime, then you very well may enjoy this game. And if you would, just hit the like or subscribe down there in the bottom as it helps out. My name is Joe. You're watching Dice of Wrath.